Whenever. Okay. We're live, right? I think.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
live. Yeah.
You guys are probably
Yep.
wondering what's going on. You're probably like, Suns Geek, you weren't going live tonight. You're on the Suns Jam Session podcast. Well, I was on the Suns Jam Session podcast, and then some technical difficulties happened, and here we are. So welcome to the Tory Craig show, if you will. That's probably what we're going to talk about for 30 minutes. I'm joined by one of the hosts of the Suns Jam Session podcast, friend of the channel, and an all-around good dude, Matthew Lissy. How you doing, man?
Hey, good. It's been a while. I haven't seen you. I haven't seen you in a while,
It's been
man.
so long, man.
Yeah, I know. Apologize to all the jamsters that are here now. I mean, this is the same exact thing. It's just reversed. But yeah, John's a little drunk. He kind of just kicked us off. So we're live now, and we're gonna continue what we started.
You know what? In all fairness, though, if that was my first Suns game since the second game of the NBA Finals, like you mentioned, I would have been wasted as well. Let's be real. And you know what? Like I mentioned, all the Suns fans should be wasted after this slump of games and the stretch that we're in, man. So, Suns fans, if you're just joining, or if you're watching later, go check out the Suns Jam Session podcast. They do great work over there. I was just on their show, and I think before Christmas, I was on for the Washington Wizards game. Always a great time with Matthew Lissy here. So, the one thing we didn't get to talk about, Matthew, was Tory Craig. And I'll pull up the numbers here for you. 35 minutes, 7 for 11 from the field, hit 2 3-pointers, by the way, 17 points, 9 rebounds, and even 1 swat. So I'll just start with you, man. Like, what did you see from Tory Craig tonight? Any takeaways? What are you thinking, man?
Yeah, a few takeaways actually. He kind of reminds me of, when the Suns had Tim Thomas, and it seemed like we were going to win anything because we didn't have Amari, and Tim Thomas came in and won us the series. I feel like Torrey Craig's not hitting the threes. Well, he does hit the threes, but I'm not hitting the big shots.
Yeah.
But he's like the guy that's like almost winning. He's not finishing it off, but he's a guy that can come in and get you some buckets when you need it, man. He does a lot, and I think DA plays really well with them. I was watching the Nets tonight, and TJ Warren was back. Who knows if he'll even play the next game, but he is there right now playing with their starting lineup. He's not a starter, but he's come off the bench, but he looks really good. He's a guy that stays open. Whenever there's a double team, you can swing him the ball, and he can hit from anywhere. So I was thinking, I'm like, ooh, that'd be nice to have on this team. But I feel like Tory Craig's that in a way where he eventually can be that guy when Booker's back, where these guys are getting doubled. He cuts a lot. He's open for three. He's always doing the things that you wouldn't think he could do, but he's there like killing it from three, and he's getting to the rim. He's getting to the line. He's playing aggressive. I get worried about him getting hurt out there too because he plays so fucking aggressive and he tries to put the ball. Oh, can we curse on this podcast?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah? All right, cool. Yeah, he just does a lot, and I feel like he gives the effort that I feel like all Suns should every game. He doesn't give up no matter what the score is. Yeah. He's my favorite player right now on this team.
You know what? I've been cursing up a storm since we got into the slump. So go ahead and curse as much as you want. But yeah, Tory Craig was fantastic tonight, man. And I think you pretty much summed it up, man. Just someone tweeted this out too, and I'm pretty much paraphrasing here, but they were like, if every other Suns player played with as much like hustle and effort as Tory Craig did, we probably would have won a lot more games. And I responded to that tweet saying sometimes the little things win you games in basketball, and that's exactly what Tory Craig did tonight, man. Grabbing offensive rebounds, hitting a couple threes here and there. He had a really nice assist to DeAndre Ayton, by the way. And again, just doing the little things, getting to the free throw line, getting extra possessions. He was fantastic. And if we were live on your show right now, you know he would have been the Suns Jam Star of the game. So I'll just pull it up on my channel here. He was the MVP of the game, man, no question. I'm not saying that there wasn't any other great performances out there. Tory Craig was definitely the MVP of the game. And prior to our show getting shut down, Tory Craig's comments.
Sometimes there's natural disasters. You just can't control, like John's fingers.
Tory Craig's comments about the vibe of this team. Yeah. I have mixed feelings about that, but I think that that's the veteran, mature thing to say. You know what I mean? Because when things are collapsing, like you've had jobs before and everything, like you don't want like your workplace to become toxic and all that. So I get why he said what he said, but at the same time, you maybe want someone to speak up, maybe call out the team or have like a team meeting, you know, no coaches and all that, just saying. But either way, Tory Craig was absolutely fantastic tonight, MVP of the game, and we need more Tory Craigs out there. And just real quick, I would have to look up like the past 10 games or whatever, but he has been launching the three and it's been surprisingly going in, man. So until teams start adding him to the scouting report and closing out on threes, I think he should continue to launch it.
Yeah, he's very automatic, and he's actually he's someone that you can really trust out there. There's not a whole lot of trust between
Yeah.
a lot of those players out there. He plays well with anybody that's out there. But the thing is, like, he just doesn't give up. Like I said earlier, um, I don't know what to do when, I mean, if eventually Cameron Johnson does come back, I feel like you kind of got to stick with Torrey Craig for right now, which is kind of
Yeah.
weird because, I mean, we were gonna start we were gonna start Cameron Johnson, or we did, over Jay Crowder, and this is what happened. We don't have Jay Crowder now, but now I'm saying, like, keep Torrey Craig a little bit just until Cameron Johnson gets his feet underneath him. So that might be the option. Whenever that does happen, it's probably another month or two away, though.
Yeah. And I think because whenever Cam Johnson comes back, and even when Devin Booker comes back, we're going to have to see how these guys look. You know how Monty Williams is with the rotations and the starters. One day it's Landry Shamet, one day it's Dario Saric. Take your time coming back, Cam Johnson, the entire roster. Take your time coming back. We'll figure it out. You sort of mentioned this earlier, like it's one game at a time. You know, the offensive scheme changes from game to game and everything. But I think start Tory Craig until he gives you a reason not to start him. But he was absolutely fantastic tonight. And again, I can't repeat this enough, man. If we would have had more Tory Craigs out there, we probably would have won this game.
Yeah, and the vibe thing too. I think it's good to still have that vibe because they know right now they're without a lot of players.
Yeah.
And they know some players are probably playing injured. And I'm not saying like every player plays hurt, but I think injured and capable of doing things that they're normally doing, but they're out there playing because they have to.
Yeah.
Who those players are? Chris Paul was one of them tonight, but Mikhail, you know he's hurt. I swear to God, he's hurt.
Yeah,
I know he's hurt. He just doesn't look the same at all. So that vibe is good. It's like when you're at work, like you said, but someone's out because they had a baby. You know, they're out 2 months and you're scrambling. You have no one else, but you got to fight through it. You got to do what you got to do until they come back. So that's what they're doing right now.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Someone had a baby.
It's again, man, I said this on your show. It's the Phoenix Suns are getting paper thin, man. And look, John said that he's writing up a piece on James Jones. You know, I can't wait to read that. Everyone go check out Bright Side of the Sun probably tomorrow whenever it's released, and how you know how James Jones is going to be pretty patient and everything. And I think he's even gone on like Arizona Sports Radio and said, I'm playing it patient and we're not going to make any moves or whatever. I don't necessarily agree with that either. I've been pretty critical of James Jones. I pretty much said, I'm like, if James Jones has the balls to go into the playoffs with this roster, like, I don't trust the Phoenix Suns. We're probably going to get our asses kicked again. But at the same time, patience is a virtue. Anything can happen at the trade deadline, man. Teams might get a little squirrely, if you will, and they might get a little panic button, and they might want a Jay Crowder. Oh, hey, John's here, so he can help us out a little bit. But I'll get you in here in a second. Here, John.
You're fired.
Yeah, you're fired.
He probably did that on purpose so he can get fired and just be done with the Jam Session podcast.
I guess my thought is just my closing thoughts. Even though I've been a little bit critical of James Jones and Monty Williams and the entire Suns team, we're only 40 games in. It's not even February yet. Let's just take it one game at a time. Let's get healthy, and one game at a time. So
yeah, and you know what, the Suns, what they don't need to do, and I know we talked about the trade for Pascal Siakam for Ayton and that, but you don't want to end up with a guy that you're just trying to get and plug in and see if you can win a title and you're stuck with him. You don't want to end up with somebody that you don't really want, but fans need a change. You know, if you go back, and John he did tweet about it, I'm sure it's going to be in his article, where James Jones is basically traded for no one but Tory Craig. And you know what, in the past 3 or 4 seasons. So I just think that he obviously won't make a move. He can't make a move. And right now you just got to just hope that we can make the playoffs right now.
Absolutely.
We have to come back down to earth and be like, you know what, that's what we're fighting for this year. So we'll see how it ends up, man.
And you know, we talked about this on your show. You were like, what do you think we're going to go out of these next 8 games? I'm like, dude, if we can somehow get out of there 4-4, that would be incredible. We just need to get a win, man. I'm sure you heard about the Kemba Walker news. I don't really have too many thoughts on this, but one thing I don't really feel like we kind of talked about, but you did just touch on it. The Suns just need some kind of firepower, man. They need some. I mean, I guess we did talk about it on your show a little bit, but they need something, man. They need like a new body in there. They need some kind of firepower. They need consistency, efficiency. I hate using that word, but it's true, man. Shots got to start going in. We could ramble about this all day long. We're going to go to our next little topic here. By the way, if you guys got any questions real quick, we'll probably go live for about 20 more minutes or whatever, because we were already live for about 40 minutes on your show, Matthew. But we are going to kind of sidetrack real quick. And once again, feel free, Suns fans, to submit a question and we'll do our best to answer it. We're going to move on. And I'm sure you saw this, Matthew. The NBA All-Star voting, also known as the bandwagon fans that are voting for their favorite players on their team. And let me lower these little things right here so we can see this graphic a little bit better. But yeah, and I'm not going to read all of these, but there are some notable names. Obviously, I made a video about this. Devin Booker is currently in the 8th spot with 224,000 votes. I'm sure that that's changed by now, but then there's a guy named Austin Reeves who is on the Los Angeles Lakers. He's not even really that good. And then you got like your Jordan Pooles, and you got like your Nicholas Claxtons, and I don't know. Any takeaways? I don't know if you and John even talked about this on your show yet. Any takeaways from this list? Do you care about All-Star Weekend? Do you care about the fan voting? What's your thoughts, man?
Yeah, so I think even if Booker was healthy, I think he would be in that spot still. I think he would be either number 7, number 8.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the way it is. We have to deal with it for forever because he's not seen as cool or even like something that the other fans want to watch. You know what I mean? I don't know. The following he has, oh, now I'm off now.
Sorry,
No, you're good. The following that he has is just very minimal outside of the Suns fan base. It just is. I mean, SGA, I mean, well deserved, really awesome season so far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but then like even when Booker goes off, you know what I mean? He's not going to get those amount of votes. So, and SGA plays for the OKC, like he plays for the freaking Thunder, man.
Yeah,
so,
one of the worst teams in the West.
Yeah, and there's no support there outside of what the OKC fans. So it's just the way, the look, the game, and all that. He'll never be up there, and we're gonna struggle. He'll never probably be a starter.
Yeah.
It's probably gonna be very, very difficult. This was the year, I thought, but you know what? I was thinking, I'm like, dude, if he even played the last 2 weeks, he would still be in the same situation. He doesn't get the respect from anybody else. He just doesn't. He's not branded well. It's just not going to, and that's fine. I don't care anymore because he's just not going to get the fan votes, and that's just the way it is.
You pretty much stole all of my thoughts, and I even said that in my video. I was like, this happens every year, but I will say Devin Booker being injured probably played a little bit part of that. But it again, like I looked it up, like 2019, he was like really low in the votings, 2020, 2021, et cetera, et cetera. This happens every single year, but the injury does play a factor in it. We're going to see those random guys like Jordan Poole and Austin Reeves and all that on the list every single year. And even though I was criticizing NBA fans, they definitely got it right with SGA. I mean, he's 4th right now. He definitely deserves an all-star spot. We know how good Ja Morant is and everything. But like Russell Westbrook's probably not an all-star, even though I do like Russell Westbrook. He's not an all-star. Klay Thompson's been on fire, but I don't think he's an all-star either. But yeah, Devin Booker, man. And look, I even said this in my video too. I was like, Devin Booker does probably care a little bit about being an all-star, but he probably doesn't. You know what I mean? The dude just wants to win, man. And if he needs that extra, because what I love about what they've recently done with All-Star Weekend is they give the guys like a week off or about a week off-ish after All-Star Weekend, and it's freaking awesome. So Devin Booker needs that entire week or more to recover and rest. And even if he's at the All-Star game and he's not playing, I'm fine with that, man.
Yeah,
I just wanted to get your opinion on that.
Yeah, and I mean, I think he does. He has cared in the past, but I think he just accepts it now, where he just knows like he's not going to be a superstar like those other guys. Even if SGA, if he ends up on a good, decent team, he'll be a starter over Steph Curry right now, or even over Ja Morant, because he's that fucking good. But also, he just has that look. He just has everything that Booker doesn't have that appeals to the other fans. And I mean, it's just something that we have to deal with. It does suck because he's just amazing this year. He's just, until he got hurt, man, he is just insanely good. His
Yeah.
games, it's just you want to stop watching, just take a walk around the block because the way he can just knock down shots and how how on fire he gets, it's
Yeah.
insane, dude. I don't know what to do with myself when he was playing
Yeah.
those games. So that's so sad that we're missing that, but fans don't notice that. I don't think they notice it as much as we do.
And it's even sometimes hard to like break it down and analyze it. And it's weird. I mean, for me, anyways, like, I mean this as respectfully as I can. It doesn't surprise me how great Devin Booker was playing because, like, I'm so used to seeing it. But at the same time, it is just so fun to watch. Like, just go
Yeah.
back and look at that 58-point game, or go look at, didn't he have like 51 earlier in the year? Like, we're losing track of how many great scoring nights he's had because he's that great of a scorer. And I know the Phoenix Suns GOAT debate is super debated, but Devin Booker is clearly one of the greatest Phoenix Suns
No,
players of all
yeah.
time.
He
And
is he is the you think he's already I feel like he is already the
yeah,
greatest ever.
that could be debated. I'm a little like, I consider myself an NBA historian. I'm a big fan of Suns history. You see the
Yeah.
legends on my walls and everything, but I'm like,
Yeah.
I think he kind of needs to rack up the awards a little bit. But man,
Yeah. I know,
eh,
I know. I just mean, I
yeah,
guess when it's all said and done.
yeah, when it's all said and done,
Yeah.
probably. And speaking of that, real quick, I don't know how many points Devin Booker has currently, but Walter Davis is our all-time Phoenix Suns leading scorer with like 16K, and he's going to
Yeah,
he's
Book
going to
has
pass that.
over he has a little over 12,000 now.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
yeah, so I don't know, man, but I just wanted to. He's up there. He's got to be. But there's just so many great Suns legends, man. That's all I got to say. There's so many players that don't get talked about that probably should. But Devin Booker, he's what, 26 now, 27.
Yeah,
So
no, he's I think he's 26. Yeah,
yeah,
he's definitely still young, and that's what like these injuries kind of suck because you're missing a lot of the prime right now. I feel
yeah,
like he will be in his prime this year, next year, and the year after that, and so forth. But right now, it's just games missed where we're missing greatness, and I feel like he was on his way to like a really historic season. I'm not saying it's over. I'm just saying when he
yeah.
comes back, hopefully he can stay healthy because this thing of him not being healthy, it just sucks because I don't I feel so bad for him. It sucks as a Suns fan because you're not going to win games, but I just feel bad for the dude because I know how good he is and how much he wants to play and be the best Sun in our history of a franchise, but he's sitting over there for another few weeks or so.
And he wants to win, man.
Oh
And that
yeah,
is an
yeah.
understatement. Like, you remember like a few years ago when he was like, this is the last year I'm not making the playoffs. Like, he said that for a reason. Now, he probably shouldn't have said that because of the state of the team at the time, but I get why
Yeah.
he said that now. The dude just wanted, there's that popular gif or whatever it's called of him saying, damn, as the Bucks were winning the championship and all that. Like, he wants to win. Wants to win, man. He's so passionate about the game of basketball. He's also a student of the game of basketball, which I absolutely love.
Yeah.
Devin Booker is, you guys let us know in the comments, man. Is Devin Booker the greatest Phoenix Suns of all time? We'll go for a few more minutes here, man. Then we'll probably just get out of here. We just kind of were freestyling this little post game
No, it was
live.
funny. It was kind of like you're at your friend's house and then like the mom's like, "No, you got to get out of here." And then you call your other mom and be like, "Hey, could we spend the night at my house?"
I've done that.
And it's like, "Yeah." And then you guys go over there. Like, this is what it's like, dude. But it's like for grown, I guess, men. I don't know.
I was
We're
just like,
just hanging
screw it.
out.
Let's just go live on my show.
Yeah, you know what? I'm like, I don't know what to do. So
And,
no,
and I,
as long as you want to go, like I don't really care, man. Whatever you want to talk
And,
about. What did
and
we
I,
miss?
I said this to you before we went live, man. I truly mean this, John. If you're watching later for some reason, this goes for you too. I meant to have you guys on more often, schedules, real life, but you guys are awesome. Subscribe to the Suns Jam Session
Yeah, he's not
podcast, man.
allowed anymore.
Yeah.
He's not allowed. Are you kidding me?
I sent him an invite too, but he's
Time out,
probably
dude.
a little too drunk.
No, he's 5 passed out drooling on something.
So good, man.
White trash.
I guess before we get out of here, we'll close it out here in a few minutes. I'm going to share my screen too. We're just going to look at the NBA standings. This is sort of a thing I like to do on my show. I look at the NBA standings, and I guess I can zoom in a little bit too because it's kind of hard to see on my screen. Oh gosh, it's totally hard to see on my screen for some reason. I got to zoom in a little bit here. lots of great teams in the NBA, man. And you know what, Matthew? Like, I got to tell you, man, this is one of the strangest NBA seasons I've ever seen. And that is an understatement. So many wonky records out there. Like the Hornets beat, who did they beat tonight? Like the Bucks or something like that. Like, so
Oh, I
many.
wouldn't be surprised. Is that what
Yeah,
happened?
like they beat somebody tonight. I'm trying to figure out who they
Okay,
beat. But it was a weird win. Hold on, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna look it up real quick.
that's fine. They
Yeah,
beat
they beat
Milwaukee. Yeah, they
yeah,
killed them.
138, 109. Like, and that's just a small little example of some of the weird storylines and games and performances we've seen this season. So let's start with the Eastern Conference just real quick. We don't have to spend too much time on this. Is there any team that stands out to you in the Eastern Conference? Do you have any thoughts on the standings right now? I mean, we're 40 games in pretty much. What are you thinking, man?
Yeah, so I was watching Brooklyn tonight. I had mentioned in the last podcast we were on, but they look so good. They're my
Yeah,
pick right now. If you had to ask me, like, yeah, I think they're going to make it. I think the way they're handling the Ben Simmons situation and the way he's playing out there, they just look good, man. They have like this lineup where I'm watching. It's KD, it's Kyrie, Claxton's out there playing center, but then you also have Ben Simmons for size, and then you have TJ Warren. So I feel like you have a lot of guys that can do a lot out there, just very versatile. And they won 11 games in a row, 12 games in
yeah,
a row, and they lost one, but won tonight. So they are my pick right now in the East. I think it's very much up in the air. I think it's a lot to do with just the way teams handle themselves now, where there's a lot of resting and all that. That's why it's so up and down
yeah.
all the time, right? It's just so back and forth where you'll have off nights, and then hopefully one of those teams loses to the Suns because now the Suns suck, and maybe we can upset some good teams
Yeah.
because now that's the way we are.
And that's sort of what we're seeing in the NBA too, is like lots of bad teams can upset the great teams and all that. But Brooklyn right now, they're just playing incredible. They've, for the most part, seemed to have put all that controversy aside of them. Kevin Durant is having a career year. They're at, and I don't think we've even played them yet, man. I'm scared to play them. Boston's obviously really good, although they're 5-5 in their last 10. That's sort of notable. But a lot of weird teams out there, like Chicago for some reason seems to play really well against like the good teams, and they play bad against the bad teams. They're 7-3 in their last 10. Indiana's overachieving. Philadelphia's had a roller coaster of a season. Just scrolling
Yeah.
down to the Western Conference, though, we obviously saw how good Cleveland was, and I think we play them soon or next or whatever. Denver's on a roll right now. They're 8-2 in their last 10. The Grizzlies have won 5 straight. Dallas was cooking for a while. They're 7-3 in their last 10. Sacramento Kings, man, I've heard they're pretty bad on defense, but damn it, they're good on offense. Light the beam. They're a great story. They might actually make the playoffs this year. That's freaking awesome. Any takeaways from the Western Conference besides the fact of how damn good the Western Conference is?
Yeah, so the Nuggets are a lot of people's picks right now. I still don't believe in them. I really don't. I feel like they're very, very beatable. The only thing is if they can get in a situation where they can play defense, their defense has looked a little bit better. But if they
Yeah.
can play defense and Michael Porter can stay healthy,
Yeah.
they have a chance. But that's a lot of ifs. It's just like the Suns. Like if they can stay healthy, they have a chance, maybe. And also the Pelicans, man. I know the Grizzlies. I picked them to be like the number 1 seed this year. They're probably going to end up being that because they play so hard every night if Ja could stay healthy. But the Pelicans, they're the team. If they can stay healthy and they can get a couple weeks before the playoffs start together and they don't get hurt, that's a team that's going to face the Nets. I feel like it'd be like a Nets Pelicans. Oh, yeah, they
Play tonight.
they
Yeah.
did play
It
tonight.
was a
That's who
really
they were
good game
playing.
too.
It
Yeah.
was, but then you don't have Zion, you don't have Ingram.
Yeah.
So it's still a team that's very feisty. I think Alvarado, as much as we hate him, he's really fucking
Dude,
good.
yeah,
I think
he's
he's a guy that gets underneath everyone's skin. He plays his role very well. That's very hard to match. And I think what the Nets are doing, like tonight, where they're more versatile without James Harden, where they have more defense because they have Ben Simmons now.
yeah.
That's a team that can compete with him. I think if these two teams were healthy, and that'd be a good finals matchup because right now that's who I'm picking. Golden State, they'll figure it out. The
Yeah, they've
Mavericks,
been playing better.
the Mavericks thing is crazy to me because I know the Luka thing, but there's something there that they have to fix, and I don't think anybody
Yep.
can fucking figure it out because
Yeah.
they look good and Luka puts up those stats, but they're barely winning those games. They're not really a
Yep.
team. That's just a hard watch for me. And
Yeah.
I know the whole Luka thing, and I know a lot of us don't like him, but still, I still think he's a phenomenal player. It's a weird thing with that team, and I don't know, man. I still think if the Suns can get healthy, it's still probable. But those two
Yeah.
teams within the Nuggets and the Pelicans still scare me.
Well, with how great Luca is, dude, it's 5-on-5, not 1-on-5. Like he needs some damn help. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but do you think
And
he wants the help? Because that's my thing. Is like that's why I predicted Porzingis to get traded because
yeah,
Porzingis isn't obviously as good. But
yeah.
if you get another star in there, I mean, does it matter? Like, I feel like Luka just wants to be the guy to win it every fucking game. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like he's
Right.
that way for a couple seasons. Maybe he'll change, but right now, I think that's just the way he is.
That could be an interesting theory. I don't know. Because again, we obviously haven't seen Luca with somebody like that, like an all-star caliber player, unless you count Christian Wood as that.
Yeah.
But real quick on the Pelicans, man, and I know you already know this because we played them already 4 times this season. We probably won't see them till the playoffs.
Thank
They
God,
are
dude.
they are loaded, man, from top
Yeah.
to bottom. Even if it's like a couple of their second year guys, like they are loaded, man. They are a great team. The Warriors have been playing better. They only have Steph right now. The Clippers are pretty much, if they're healthy, they're decent. If they're not healthy, they're not that good. They've lost 5 straight. Portland kind of came back to reality. They were playing pretty well to start the year. But I think Damian Lillard's injury has bothered them. And then, oops. And
Let's look at the
then,
NFL schedule.
yeah, I didn't mean to click that.
Playoff
The
playoff predictions.
the Timberwolves are pretty much a disaster, although they've won 3 straight.
They've won and they don't have Cat. So
Yeah.
that's the thing is, do you
Yeah.
trade? That's always
Yeah.
the thing. You can't trade them till the offseason, though. So
I have mixed feelings on that too. I'm like, I feel like they traded Rudy Gobert for a reason, or for Rudy Gobert for a reason. I don't think they would just blow it up just because they're struck. It's year 1, dude, and like we're not even at the All-Star break yet. So I don't know, but I just wanted to get your thoughts on the standings, man. Any final thoughts? Any takeaways on any of this stuff, man? Any last minute thoughts? I know we kind of just freestyled the show. Um, what are you thinking, man?
I think these games are easier to take right now. They're just easier because we know, I mean, I want to win for sure, but they're just easier to kind of go through and just be like, you know what? I guess the vibe is still good there. We're still losing, but I don't think we have a choice. I feel like tonight, one thing.
Yeah.
So Suns were down by 6, about a minute left, and they force Jimmy Butler, great defense. He misses the ball. Shaman gets the ball, starts to run, and looked like they had numbers. Monty Williams down by 6 calls the timeout, and then they stop and they don't get a point after that. I tweeted right when that happened. I'm not saying to toot my own horn here, but I was like, that was the stupidest timeout. And I didn't even know what was going to happen after that. But I'm like, dude, this team was rolling. We got Shama to the rim. He laid it in, and then they got a nice stop. Let's see where this goes. He
Yeah.
stops the play because he has a play drawn up, and then all of a sudden it's just no. They all of a sudden Sun's going to do anything offensively. They try to an inbound pass to
Killed the
Ayton,
momentum.
turn it over, no momentum.
Yeah.
So that timeouts was the biggest thing for Monty Williams, where he calls them too late, calls them at the wrong time. Tonight was the worst timeout I've seen all season long. I knew that was going to kill us because I'm not sure if he really thought we are going to win the game down by 6 with a minute left, but there's a little momentum there. You never know.
Yeah.
And he just killed it. I was like, dude, I was so frustrated after that. So I don't know if you noticed that.
You want to know who was good with timeouts tonight? Was Eric Spoelstra.
Spoelstra is the
Because
best.
he called those safety timeouts.
Yes.
When the Suns would get momentum and cut back into lead, timeout. And it
He's
just didn't
so
matter.
good at that. Yeah, it was every time we would get on a roll, he was like, "Oh, let me see this next position." No, we hit 1-3. We maybe beforehand we get to the free throw line and then hit a 3 on the next one, timeout.
Yep.
Anytime we go on a 5-0 run, timeout.
Yep.
It was perfect. Use those timeouts, but not in that spot. That was a worst timeout, man.
And that's what you get when you coach LeBron for that many years and won 3 championships or whatever with the Heatles. Eric Spoelstra's great, man. He's literally had every job in the NBA to my knowledge. So hopefully that's a learning moment for Monty Williams.
No such thing anymore.
I don't know, man. So real quick, I'm sure people already know where to find you, Matthew. But if you want to tell people what you guys do at the Suns Jam Session podcast, where they can follow you, go ahead and plug your stuff, man.
Yeah, so you can find me at Matthew Lissy, and then you can find my podcast, the Suns Jam Session podcast. We go live after every game. Sometimes
every
the Suns
game.
Suns Geek, if one of us takes the night off and wants to go to the game, get drunk, and then end the show early when they come back home, Suns Geek will be there, and he can. I love having the show with Suns Geek on. It's nice. It flows good. It's a good kinship. I just
Yeah.
enjoy it. So he comes on a lot. So check us out at Suns Jam Session. Also, yeah, I think that's it, man. Yeah, go like, subscribe, whatever you do for podcasts.
Yep. Go check out the Suns Jam Session podcast. Like I said, you guys, they are live after every single game. You guys are awesome. You guys are the best. You're the OGs of the Suns Jam set, or the OGs of the Suns post game podcast, I should say. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, but you're the real OG, dude. You've been here. You've been doing this for a long time, right? How many years has it been?
I don't want to toot my own horn. It's almost been like 10 years.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
Sort of.
No, yeah. And we're like on year three, third season.
Yeah.
But we've been doing it for almost 3.5 years or so. So
right. It's
damn, it's almost 10 years. That's awesome.
It's been wild, man. I kind of want to make a video too, like talking about how like I started all this stuff.
Oh,
like
yeah.
I always tell this story. I'm like, my first quote like Suns video was like an overtime loss against the Knicks or something like that. Like it was, and that was when Melo played with the Knicks. So that was like 10 years ago.
Damn, dude.
Yeah,
I gotta go back and watch your old stuff.
Please don't.
When we started, I didn't watch anything. I never watched or listened to any Suns podcasts ever. I listened to Bill Simmons and that's it. I never seeked out other podcasts, even Locked on Suns or anything. I still really don't, to be honest. But yeah, I don't know. 10 years, man. That's crazy.
Well, in all fairness, too, podcasts have really exploded over the years, especially Suns podcasts. There's obviously tons of great Suns content out there. But I was just some dude just filming videos talking about the game. So if you guys are new to this channel, that's pretty much the short history of this channel. But once again, you guys go check out the Suns Jam Session podcast. John and Matthew, they do great work. They're live after every single game. Great content over there. And thank you again, Matthew, for being here. I love being on your show as well. Anytime you guys need me, you already know, man, just hit me up. So do me a favor, you guys, Hulk, smash that like button. Please subscribe. Stay tuned for more Suns content. I would love to pump out more videos for you guys, but there's really not too much to talk about right now besides the fact that we suck. So get healthy, Phoenix Suns. God bless you guys. Stay safe. Peace out. And Matthew,
go home and love your family. Thank you.
Yep. Have a good night, you guys.